So it's up to you how you want to develop a method to help them get that kit. But I don't, you know, when I was coaching basketball and a kid needed a pair of shoes, you know, it was one thing to go out and buy them a pair of shoes, and it was one thing to make them have a little bit of an effort with the shoe. If they don't have that little bit of input, then they're going to treat those shoes, they're going to wear them out in the rain. Doesn't that make you mad if you've ever been in an athletic sport when those kids should be an indoor ball shoe and they're wearing it outside? Well, if I spent $100 on those shoes for them and they didn't have anything into it, you better believe they were wearing them outside. So if you want them to have a little bit of a piece of that, you got to make them work for it. If you give them an easy out, and maybe your easy out is a $35 kit, that is not an option, people. That's not an option. If you're really wanting to build this business and you want a strong team, that's for your salon spas that are just going to service the product, maybe sell it off the shelf. They're not going to build a business. That's a registration fee in my mind. That's what we have to offer as part of legal ramifications. You know what I mean? It comes with nothing. It's naked, if you will. There's just no support in that. And I'll be honest with you, if someone buys a $35 kit from me, I'm not going to support it. Because I got a lot of people that are willing to pay $199, and that's much more worth my time because I think they're putting themselves out there a little bit more. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand money's tight, but it's our job to show them how to work hard for that kit. So that's my what's been working.
Well, I try to make it simple, and instead of trying to sell, I tell. And that's the two things that I say. Instead of selling it, tell it. And the other thing, and write this one down, 2 words: don't quit. Don't quit.
Instead of sell,
I tell. Mm-hmm.
So what do you tell?
She's saying instead of trying to, people always say all the time, I want to sell. She's like, you don't have to be a salesperson. You just tell them about a product you know about.
I don't
Or
have
story.
to try to sell them on this. Boy, this is, you know, on and on and on and on and on. And the term that we hear a lot is throwing up on people. I just tell about it. I've got something I want to tell you about. And you really don't have to sell it, because once they see it, it sells itself.
It does, you just explained.
Good question.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you.
Same thing. I think I help them if they really want it. They're going to get the people at the parties. And I just go over the IT brochure with the products. I'm telling them I'm not selling these. I'm explaining those products because start the ones that interest you, and that gives me an idea of what maybe the customers want. And sometimes you never know if they're going to become a distributor, if they're going to get all this stuff while they're showing something. So I keep it as simple as you can and talk about it. Open your mouth and just say something. And it just creates interest and then excitement. So if you're talking about it, it's going to lead somewhere. So just talk about it.
What's been working for me? Over the last year, I've really started to focus on building the 2x2. And if you don't know what that is, there is a form in your e-office. Oh, good, you have it.
This is one of my tips.
Oh. This is all I use now when I'm sitting with a new potential distributor. I take the IT catalog and I take this sheet with me. And Stephanie is a fine example of how fast your business will grow if you just stick to that. Keeping it simple, following those 4 steps will qualify the leg, qualify your distributor for fast cash bonus, and set out all the bonuses. So I use only that really when it comes to signing up new distributors. Is working really well.
Thank you. And if you want to hear her teach on how to use this, go to the Living the Dream Team site, and there's a video.
I think one thing that has been working is every time I sign a new distributor, I have several scheduled calls with them. The first one going over the back office, explaining where the business cards are, the training, how do you put in a loyal customer, all that kind of stuff. And then the second call is more of a strategy call, their why, getting that party planned, getting that list together, and helping them form a game plan. How are they going to use the time? You know, what scheduled time are they going to use to build the business, and how are they going to use that time? And I find that having those scheduled calls really help me to connect with a new distributor, because a lot of times by now I don't know my new distributor. I met them at an expo or you know, at a party, and I don't know them that well yet. So it allows me to build that relationship, to get to know them, to get to know their goals, and then open up that door of communication so that they can feel comfortable calling me when they have questions and things. And I think that that build that team-like atmosphere.
Can you repeat the first call?
Is about, when I do that, I do it about the back office, explaining that e-office, because there's so much in there. And I have gone to the launch party before, and the new distributor has not yet been to the back office. And that is so disheartening.
And we're hoping,
And I will never let that happen again.
and we're hoping to record something in the
Yeah.
in the
There's so much in there to go back there, and a lot of times people look for the business cards under sales aids, and you know, there's just a lot of things to
Like
show
you
them.
said, even putting in a customer, they're like, how?
Yep,
how do I do
exactly. So we want them to get those 2 customers as soon as possible. So we want them to know how to put it in, and so that's really what the first couple calls are about. And I find that scheduling them really helps because then we both are focused. We have carved time, and it's something on the calendar. Starting a new business and then not having any idea what to do can be really overwhelming. So having those scheduled calls, I think, can help.
What's working? Well, for me, I've kind of, like what Denise said, I'm focusing more on kind of going back to some of my team members that have been in that may have fallen off a little bit, and they may be 2 or 3 under me, or gosh, 4 or 5, but the ones that really want to do this business and scheduling like one-on-one conference calls with them in a time slot that I know that I can have the time with them, and they can ask me specific questions to whether it's their business or to, you know what, I'm really having a hard time. And so if you haven't built a team yet and you're somewhat new in this, or if you do have a team, I think also too is instilling a belief system, not only in It Works, but in yourself and helping others, because I think right now too, so many people are kind of like, it can't work for me. You know, there's just no way, I can't get to there. Yes, you can, but that person needs to find that out on their own. You can't sit there and tell them. So having the tools, obviously for our business tools, but there's also the tools here and here that are important as well. And I'd say part of how, you know, getting things to work starts there as well. So.
I would say, looking back over almost 3-year period, what has worked, maybe sometimes too, instead of what's working right now. When I first started, I did probably 4 parties my whole first year because we didn't have wrap rewards. And if I sold a house, it was a little bit better profit than selling the body wraps. But you know, the real estate market's kind of gone like this, so a little twist. But really just diversifying. I mean, I used personal contacts, cold contacts, a little bit. I didn't put all my eggs in one basket. I just did a little bit of everything. Eventually got into the doing more of the parties, but I was having fun with Cammie and the rest of these girls. And like you said, just have fun, but also believing that you can is a big proponent of it. I always, when people on the team get frustrated, I just say we got to lead by example. Because you can't force anybody to do anything. I sometimes get frustrated and just say, I'm just going to do it ourselves. You know, we'll have a contest ourselves, you know. Because you can't drag people along, and you just keep going and believe that it can be done. There's so many people, like you said, that have never heard of the product before. I don't think we'll have lack of leads for many years.
That's right.
So.
Can I ask a quick question? Like with you said about the personal contacts, cold calls and stuff like that. Is that something that you just started out with recruiting, like, or was that trying to get parties, or
Either.
Okay.
I have a hard time not talking about the opportunity, and
Yeah.
sometimes I think that we have to lead more with the applicator, but it's hard to not say both. Get us excited. We all stand up, you know. What's that?
I said we all do what we're passionate about, and some might be more product, some might be, but you're going to get both anyways.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Nathan and Dave, you guys have something to add?
Well, yeah, you're gonna come to us, aren't we?
Yeah.
Don't forget the back row.
Wait.
What's working for us, I think, is the main staple of kind of how Cammie and I have done this for 4 years is the building of the relationship. And that starts even when you approach a cold call. You know, kind of like Joyce said earlier, you don't really want to puke on someone. A great way to start your business pitch is to ask questions, just to start to build that relationship. You might ask them about their family, knowing that, gosh, this person would be so great with It Works. You might be asking about family, you know, you're asking about this, and